Hello there, and welcome to my new video about weapon upgrades in Jagged Alliance 3. In this video, I'm going to go over all the things that you might want to know about the topic. I'm going to start about general things, and then we're going to go over each and every different modification type and what they're good for. So I hope that by the end of the video, you have a good idea of which kind of upgrades you might want to prefer fitting to your playstyle and whatnot. Good. Let's get started with the utmost basics. When you hover over a gun, you see how many modification slots it has. You right-click it, you click Modify, and then you enter the modification screen, which allows you to fit in all manner of different modifications. Every gun has its own assortment of different upgrades, so there's really a lot of different upgrades in this game. Luckily, the categories behave roughly similar or even the same on every type of gun, so it's not that hard to understand how they work, how you got the general picture. Upgrades are being paid with or paid for with parts. That's the general currency. Some upgrades do require extra things like steel pipes, lenses, chips, and such things to produce even more powerful upgrades. If you're wondering why these are in my squad supplies and yours are not, this is a mod that I installed because I like to reduce clutter. So if you want to do that as well, you require that mod. So a last thing before we go into the details of the mods. Generally, a gun is better the more modification slots it has. That doesn't mean necessarily that always a gun with 6 slots is better than a gun with 5 slots. There are differences, but something like the Rifle 98, which just has 2 upgrade slots, is clear sign that this is an old-fashioned model which will get outperformed by any modern weapon. There's a couple of these weapons in the game, like for example the Peacemaker revolver, which is on its own a pretty decent weapon, but it gets outperformed by fully modded handguns quite quickly, for example. That being said, let's get into the actual modifications, and I want to start with assault rifles because they boast a wide range of different upgrade categories, so they're excellent to explain the whole topic. So first off, we're going to start with the muzzle upgrades. This is all these are all about 2 things in general: either suppressors to make your attacks silent, or compensators to make your hits get subsequently more accurate. That means shot 1 isn't that accurate, shot 2 gets more accurate, and so on. This is pretty excellent for automatic fire weapons, and with this slot, most of the time your decision making is either go for extra accuracy or go for those silent attacks. Or you invest a steel pipe, build a real suppressor, and get both advantages at once. But here you see it already, these extra parts, they make excellent upgrades, while upgrades that are only being made with parts aren't that powerful comparatively. By the way, if you are a min-maxer, you might want to save your game before modifying your guns, because there's always a chance of the modification failing and your gun suffering damage. I am just suffering from OCDs like that. If you are so as well, just use quick load and quick save, or just face the consequences of a failed modification. So we got in this slot the Under-slung slot. Sometimes you have only a grip available at this slot, which doubles the accuracy bonus for the first aim level. Basically, well, I love this one. It's costly, but it makes your aiming way more cost efficient. It's a staple for assault rifles. Alternatively, sometimes these slots can be fit with grenade launchers. Some weapons have a sight slot or a grenade launcher slot dedicated for this, but all in all, sometimes you get to choose either grip or grenade launcher. I just want to say at this point, don't ever use grenade launchers with people that have no explosives experience. It will only make you sad. If you want to use grenade launchers, make sure that the person operating them has a decent explosives value, at least 20 to 30. Alright, I want you. The rest is up to you. So, the side attachments are all about illuminating devices or marking devices. The cheaper ones illuminate the enemy and the wielder, so you give up your stealth advantages if you use that, but you can negate any darkness downsides with this upgrade. Pretty powerful, but like I said, it also gives you a way. If you have chips and lenses available, though, you can do wonderful things. Here we have only chip upgrades. So some of these upgrades even have no disadvantages here. For example, the tactical device improves stealth kill chances, still illuminates you, but the red dot does provide a guaranteed crit if you have 3+ aim, which is amazing. Or the UV dot is another really cool thing without downsides. But here, you notice a chip is necessary, the upgrades are stupidly powerful. That's usually the thing. Chips are quite rare, even rarer than lenses. So, let's head on over to the scope section. Scopes are, like you would have already assumed, all about aiming and crits. They come in two different flavors. You either get to upgrade aiming in form of various different scopes that either increase your benefits from aiming or change aiming behavior in general, like the quick prism scope here, or they add extra aiming levels. A quick word about extra aiming levels: keep in mind that the soldier mercenary doing this has to have the necessary action points to fully utilize that. The upgrades that come with chips are again really massive. The thermal scope is one that just well, it is costly, it is powerful, and as usual, if you invest these parts, you get a big payoff with practically no downsides. Either way, this slot is all about modifying the aiming behavior and accuracy and changing overwatch behavior. That's one thing that I also want to point out. So you have to choose on this slot mostly if you go for shooting accuracy or changing your overwatch potentials and other things. So stock upgrades, they are pretty much always coming with a downside. They always have some sort of a really big payoff, like here, for example, another attack during Overwatch is more than it sounds, but you always have to suffer some sort of trade-off for the stock upgrades. I gotta admit, I rarely use them, but if they fit into your build, they are really massive. So magazine upgrades, they come pretty much like you would have assumed already. They are all about two things: clip size, but also reliability. Some clips increase the reliability of your gun, which means they jam less often, and the rest is all about either more bullets, less bullets, more action points for reloading, less action points for reloading. That's pretty much all that these upgrades do. There is not much difference there in between. Let's head on over to the AK-47, which has a lot of other upgrades here. So, which ones did we have yet? Yeah, the bipod comes as a feature that is available for several guns. It is pretty powerful when you're using prone shots. Apart from that, it's not useful at all. It is very costly parts-wise, so choose wisely where you want to use it, but a large accuracy bonus is really a lot. So wherever you can put this on a gun, if you have something like a vantage point where you can fire on every enemy on the battlefield, this is a very powerful upgrade. But it doesn't do anything if you don't utilize it. Unlike other upgrades that have an inherent use that is just always working, like here. Or, well, you get the idea. It's pretty specific, but if you utilize it, it is very powerful. Good. So we have now skipped out one really important type of upgrades, which isn't available for assault rifles too often, and that's barrels. So barrels basically come always with the cost of a steel pipe, and they change the behavior of your guns massively. Barrel upgrades are, well, wildly varying. That's the first thing that I gotta say. They have so many different effects, but what I have noticed, mostly they go into range modifications, accuracy modifications, clip size modifications. You practically always have a benefit and a trade-off on these. So you have to look at barrel upgrades like specializations of your guns. You specialize your gun to a certain job most of the time when you put a barrel upgrade in it, which means it becomes less efficient at other jobs. But you know, for example, let's see, the short barrel here is a wonderful example. You get a lot of payoff, but you have to get closer to your enemy. The range gets cut by 33%, but your attack costs get reduced and the attack cone gets larger, which is for shotguns an amazing trait. But the reliability falls, so you also have to pay a price for that, but the benefits are huge. And this is something that I noticed about all the barrel upgrades. If they match to the playstyle that you follow for the gun, they are really, really stupidly powerful. Like, for example, here you can't even change the caliber of the gun with on the Desert Eagle. So barrel upgrades have really, really interesting options that you can go for. It all depends on the gun. I hope that I have now catched all the different types of upgrades. The problem here is I cannot give you a more complete picture because the game has a ton of different guns and you have to check out what kind of modifications you want to use for each and every gun in relationship what's available for the gun. But the categories, like I said at the beginning, they all work pretty much the same. So the more experienced you go, the more clearly you can see what kind of modification potential a gun has when you see like, oh, there's the potential, there's no barrel upgrade, there's but there's this and that. It is quite deep, but I hope that these explanations about the categories and what you can do with these will help you out. One last word before I end this video. When you invest things like barrels and pipes and lenses and stuff, sometimes you get them back while scrapping the gun. I have so far not discovered how far that's related to your mechanics skill. Just let me know if you know. Right, I hope that you enjoyed yourself. Thanks for your time. And let me know in the comment section if you have any add-ons, questions, or whatever. It's a pretty deep topic. I haven't found too much information on the internet. I did most of this on my own research, so yeah, I'm open. I'm open for add-ons and whatnot. Love to talk with you guys. Leave a thumbs up, leave a subscription. I'd be really delighted if you did. It's a great way of supporting this channel without paying a dime. And if you liked this video, there is a playlist link to all the other Jagged Alliance 3 info videos that I did. So, have a wonderful day. Thanks again for being here, and see you guys next time.